and welcome to the First Issue Club comic book podcast. We're your we are Reboot, Mike. We're a weekly comic book reading club where, just like Sue Storm, we love us a good read. Even when we stumble, folks, we've got to get back up. We have to keep fighting the good fight to get comic books in people's hands, to send those dots in C, M, Y, and K through your optic nerves into your brain and process art. Real art.
We also made buttons of that saying now.
Oh, la-ti-da.
So if you're at any cons that we're at, we'll have those for you. They hand out.
Fun.
Yeah.
Planet Comic Con, C2E2.
Coming up quick.
We're going to be at those. We've got we do have stuff we're doing at Planet Comic Con. We're not involved in a panel or anything at C2E2. We'll just be there as fans, enjoying the thing.
Yep. Hold on. We're press, buddy.
Yeah, we're press at C2E2.
We did get press passes.
So we'll be doing coverage.
Yeah. We have some fun stuff planned for C2E2
You
as far as coverage.
You don't have to pretend to me like you're going to do coverage to validate your press pass.
We're going to be doing... Look, I'll be doing coverage.
Hey, I bought a thing to hold my cell phone that doesn't like make it like all wiggly, so we're like be on the con floor.
Whoa.
I'm going to cover that whole con in Vargas.
All right.
Wow.
Weird.
Andy does Chicago.
Yeesh. So we're looking forward to that, and it'll be fun to run into some people. If you see one of us, get a button.
Don't talk to me. Avoid eye contact. If you want to, we have a Discord channel. We should probably say up front. A lot of people online have been asking about that. We have a link on our socials to lead to our Discord channel. Super active. We got a bunch of channels over there to talk about more than comic books. We got wrestling, movies, TV shows, all kinds of stuff.
Explain to me how this works, because I've had people ask me about it recently too.
Go.
That link in social media, is it like in a profile? One, that's my first question.
Yes. So in our profile headers, we have like a link tree.
And then in that link tree, does this link just automatically invite you to the Discord, or do you have to ask for an invitation?
So you click the link and it says, do you want to join the First Issue Club Discord?
Okay.
You click yes or no. And then as soon as you click yes, you are in.
You're dropped into it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You're dropped right into the comic talk.
It's a club with no membership fees.
You got to send me that link.
I did.
These guys have been keeping me out of this Discord.
Everyone's invited except Mike.
We now have to delete the Mike D hate channel.
No. I want to see what people say about me.
We call it the 9.8 trash channel.
But if you do want some First Issue Club with the membership fee, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/firstissueclub.
Oh, man. Real salesman today.
I want to get it out of the way so we can talk about all the cool comic book stuff.
And we're working out logistics of the links and how links work on the podcast, too.
Yeah, and they're hyper. These links are hyper, baby.
What's next? Are we going to start litigating what Riz means?
I'm rizzed up. I got gat for days.
You guys sound really old.
Yeah, totally. I'll never say that again.
You guys are really chuggy right now.
My eyebrows are on fleek.
Jesus Christ.
We have do want to rizz up these comics.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have news, though, first, right?
We do. Fresh from IDW, if I may interject firstly.
Please. Take us away in the
news. We were hyped when we found out that Jason Aaron was taking over for TMNT with his new ongoing series. They announced 4 one-shots that'll come out before the Jason Aaron stuff that focuses on each individual turtle to get us even more hyped. We've got different writers and different illustrators on each of those books. IDW said, we ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. They have an anthology series coming out called Black, White, and Green, which is similar to like the Marvel Red, White, and Pink Blood or whatever, and all the shit that they do.
DC does the same thing.
It's going to have a lot of different creators on that, and there's like 3 primary colors they stick to, which will be black, white, and green. So that'll be cool. They have, let me just pull it up here instead of trying to pull stuff from my booty.
I'll interject quickly. Planet has announced that the Raphael book is getting 2 I don't know if they're creator exclusives at Planet or Planet exclusives.
Oh, that'd be rad.
Muriel Wolf is doing one, and Doug Mankey's doing one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's killer.
Yeah.
I'll get both of those. That's
I
awesome.
will too.
That's one thing that in Kansas City we don't get a lot of great. Not that they're great when we get them.
Yeah.
But we don't get a lot of con exclusives.
The last big one was that Detective 1000, the first appearance of
Yes.
Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
But Doug Mankey did that one too. Like that was a huge get for us.
Yeah.
Does Doug Mankey live here?
I don't know, man.
Is that why
Maybe-
we keep getting him?
Maybe his art's dope as fuck.
That is true.
There was the Kevin Nolan Star Wars #1 too,
Oh,
which
sure.
was Chewbacca wearing C-3PO on his back.
Oh, that's right.
That was a great one. That was exciting
Yeah.
to have an exclusive that was like,
And Jason Aaron wrote that, so
yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah,
Cool.
Oh,
we got to have some Kansas City connection.
Yeah, back to turtle stuff. There's going to be a new TMNT Night Watcher, which focuses on like a new turtle that is inspired by the TMNT folk, which is cool if you're into that. We got some TMNT / Usagi Yojimbo Saturday Morning Adventures, which is already spinning out from the IDW title TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures that's already going on. This is not the first time that Usagi has done this, but people are pretty hyped on that. Then we have TMNT Mutant Nation, which is a continuation of the Tom Waltz and Sophia Campbell series that is up to 150 issues. And then lastly, the TMNT Alpha #1 one-shot, which will set up Jason Aaron's stuff.
So dope.
Yeah.
Are the do we know if the individual turtle books are ongoing? Because if they are, too many turtle comics.
I thank you for bringing that up. Too many turtles.
That's
This was what I was worried was going to happen when the Jason Aaron news dropped, that they were going to go real shell heavy.
Well, I think the individual turtle books, as in like Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, those
Yes.
are one shots.
Those are all one-shots,
The Alpha is a one shot.
okay.
correct?
So
The
it's-
others,
Turtles are starting.
not.
Turtles are starting to sound like X-Men over here. Teenage Mutant now stands for too many
two.
too many Ninja Turtles, man.
So I agree. They got the original hype from this Jason Aaron news, and so I mean I'm sure this was all planned ahead of time.
And everyone's just like pre-ordering the fuck out of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, and there's going to be a ton of covers, and to me, I worry that it's going to dilute the quality of some of this stuff. But I know all you shellheads out there are telling me to shut up and are screaming. And you know what? Eat all the way. Eat up, my babies.
No, good
this
for
is
you.
your time.
Yeah, if you're a big turtle fan.
Just like the Transformer, the gearheads are living it up over on Skybound.
Yeah.
Eat up, my babies. Be wary. Be as a Ghostbusters fan, be wary.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've seen this happen to my franchise more than a few times. So just enjoy it now and don't be suckered into buying garbage.
Yeah, but we're all going to be reading that Jason Aaron, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost
Okay.
and assuredly.
Okay.
So
So we're jumping on the train at least a little bit.
we've already bought tickets.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah. Mike D, you had some news you wanted to touch
Oh.
on.
News.
DC Comics. Back to Wednesday.
Dude, I can't wait for those
Finally.
variants.
What's the snark?
Back on Wednesdays.
What's the snarky variant cover gonna be?
Marvel.
Does Marvel do Welcome Back
Yeah.
covers?
They should do. Remember when they did the on sale Wednesdays?
Yeah.
They should do the still on sale Wednesdays.
The variant should be, well, look who's back.
Yeah.
It's Black Widow sitting in a chair.
Yeah. Where have you been?
Where have you been?
I tried to text you.
Been gallivanting around with that penguin all night.
You left me on red for a while, I see.
There's some good opportunity for Marvel to do something funny the week that they go back to Wednesday. So we'll see.
I think this is a good move. There's been a lot of outcry from shops lately that it's just kind of too hard to manage
annoying as a
different
fan.
days.
Yeah.
And so I think having a select day for fans and retailers to say, hey, new stuff Wednesday, and that's it.
Well, the way almost every website that sells products works, at least products that come out on a regular basis, is you're seeing the newly listed stuff first. So every DC thing on a Wednesday is the last thing that you see.
Yeah.
They're just buried underneath all the comics that came out the day you actually buy comics.
Right.
So all around, just weird move.
It was an odd move to Tuesdays in general.
I still don't understand the reasoning behind it. At the time, it almost seemed like it was just a weird flex.
Because they just left Diamond.
Yeah.
I thought it was due to their publisher. I thought that was the whole thing.
I think so as well, but it's just like you can work with that publisher and be like, hey, we can't do that. We got to be on Wednesdays because that's when people are in the shop.
Or just, okay, you ship them whenever, and we're just going to tell the shops to not put them on shelves
Just
till Wednesday.
list them Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so odd.
Okay.
Well, that was a fun fling, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Tuesday DC.
However,
This will
Can't
be
wait.
when we're old men. This will be. Remember when?
back in my day, DC used to be on Tuesdays and nobody liked it.
Okay, Grandpa, let's
Yeah.
get you back
As
to
they
the
push
home.
me into the lava pit. But actually, now DC and Marvel have teamed up to re-release the amalgam DC versus Marvel into new omnibuses that are coming out later this year.
2 omnibuses. One's the Marvel versus DC that has both series.
Yes.
And one's all the amalgam stuff, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, I have read all of them, and I have episodes recorded to release on the Patreon about these books. And let me give you a little spoiler alert for all these books. They're not good. They are not good.
So look forward to those Patreon. That might make the Patreon episodes more fun to listen to.
They are fun. Whoa, my goodness, they are fun character design wise.
Yeah.
But as far
It
as
ends there.
storytelling,
Yeah.
absolute insanity.
Yeah,
So-
they're a visual gimmick.
And mostly, the outcomes to all the fights were voted on by fans. So they would have like things like 2 weeks ahead of time, just like who would win in a fight between the Hulk and Superman, and us dummies would vote for it, and then they'd have to write the story based on those votes, which is a terrible idea in comic books.
Yeah.
Shout out to Robin.
Poor
And
guy.
George Perez is like, the Hulk beats Superman?
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And Ron Marks is like, we have to. No, I'm not doing this.
George, come back inside.
George, come inside. No.
So what I'm hearing is, if you only have $150 and you can't afford both omnibuses,
Yeah.
stick to the crossovers, not the amalgam. Is that the one to buy?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right. DC announcing a lot of stuff at
Comics Pro.
Comics Pro.
Yeah.
Today, as we're recording this anyway, today, Absolute Power is the name of DC's summer event. It deals with Brainiac, Amanda Waller, and Failsafe teaming up. Failsafe introduced during Chip Zdarsky's Batman run. He was this robot that an alternate persona of Bruce Wayne built to take him down if he ever loses his... to protect the world from himself.
Yeah.
If he ever gets out of hand.
Now we're talking comic books.
Yeah, this is in the weeds.
This is the
wild
minutia we
stuff.
love, baby.
So to
My
me,
nose is bleeding.
to me, I'm wondering if this is going to be like, okay, we introduced a robot with a really cool character design, and we know he hates Batman. Like, he'll be fun to have in a book, a la a Terminator type character.
Yeah, because at the end of Zdarsky's failsafe arc, he just launches off to Mars or something, right? He just takes off.
He believes he's killed Batman.
Yeah.
And in doing so, has fulfilled his duty and no longer serves a purpose.
Yeah.
So he just is like,
He
I'm
just,
out.
takes off into
Bye."
space or whatever.
Also, Future State has already done this, and they did it way better.
So I don't know. We'll see how convoluted the actual Absolute Power event is. I
Well,
know.
it's already ballooned.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
It's spun out from originally 6 issues to now 25.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a reasonable amount.
Which is just a few issues under their Night Terrors event.
Yeah, Night Terrors got out of hand, and I think a lot of people didn't appreciate that event. So this is at least an opportunity for DC to kind of have a comeback. I'm assuming most of those 25s are tie-ins.
Yeah, they will be.
Yeah. So if you want to follow the main storyline, it's probably still around 6 issues. And then the tie-ins are kind of like, read them if you want to.
Optional.
But I do, and even though I don't think this is the most popular thing with fans, I personally appreciate that DC puts a pause on ongoings and releases issues particular to the event if there's tie-ins going on. So my money that I've allotted to Green Lantern for the month is the Green Lantern tie-in book. I don't have to buy the Green Lantern tie-in and my normal Green Lantern comic, right? I think that's great, but there's other people who aren't interested in the event, and they're like, you're taking Green Lantern away from me for 2 months to make Night Terrors happen. Like, what the fuck?
I didn't know it's DC saving you money, friend.
Yeah, I
You
think
just
so.
don't have to buy any books for like 2 months.
Okay, so the original Absolute Power event is one of 4. So there's 4 issues in the Absolute Power.
And these have already come out. Is that correct?
July 2nd is Absolute Power number 1.
Did Mark Waid and Dan Mora not already do an Absolute Power thing?
No.
Okay.
They did World's Finest.
May 4th is the
Okay.
Absolute Power Free Comic Book Day Special Edition.
Yeah, it's DC's.
And then it's Absolute
comic
Power
book.
Ground Zero, Batman tie-in, Superman tie-in, Wonder Woman tie-in, Batman tie-in. And then it's like
There's 2 Batman tie-ins.
Task Force 7, 1 through 7. Absolute Power Origins, 1 through 3. Yikes.
All right. DC also announced an Elseworld imprint. What do you guys think about that?
Hell yes.
All right.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
This is a return
to
of
me.
this, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have always been on record saying that the Elseworld and the What If stuff is the best things that the big two can really lean into, because it allows for creators to explore alternate stories within the sandbox of familiar characters.
Yeah, not get so bogged down in canon.
And it's just so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy. You get maybe a 6-issue, sorry, Andy, you get
No,
like
no,
a
no, you're good.
6-issue series of something wacky, and then it's done. You're finished with it. And it allows you not to be fully invested in 400 issues of Spider-Man to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Is this the same stuff they already announced, though, like a couple months ago? With like the sequel to Gotham by Gaslight? And is that okay?
Yeah, it's just a I think it's more of a roadmap of where they're gonna go.
Okay. Cool.
They just probably had more details because of this event today.
Okay.
Because they only announced initially back then like 4 or 5 issues that they wanted to work
Yeah.
with. I don't think any creatives were announced at the time.
Yeah.
So I think now we just have more information of what that is, what it's going to look like.
Cool.
Now I'm for it.
Yeah, now it's a formal imprint. I do think it's interesting to see. There was a while where DC was like, we're shedding all the imprints, and we are now DC, or we're DC Black Label. And I think that got a little confusing for people with the branding in between them. Is DC Black Label more refined work? Is it more mature stuff? Is
where
it
the dicks hang out.
horror? Like, people didn't really know. So, if this goes well and people really like a DC Elseworld imprint and know that that's where they can come for these sort of things that Greg likes, especially,
They should bring back Vertigo.
should they bring back Vertigo? Yeah.
DC, now's the time to bring back Vertigo. Like, where's your weird shit?
Yeah.
Bring back Vertigo. That's where it is.
Well, and I think DC has been taking so much good talent away from other comics recently.
Yeah.
And I would love to see some of the people on their roster do more independent new character sort
Yeah.
of things that could, like, maybe they eventually tie into DC Comics, where it's like, yeah, Wildcats people show up every once in a while in DC Comics, but it's really its own thing.
I mean, give any indie creator just say, hey, we're relaunching Vertigo. Do you want to write a Vertigo book?
Yeah.
Who's going to turn that down?
People will go fucking crazy.
Yeah. And relaunch it with a Preacher sequel, just as a for instance.
DC in 2023 was W City. They just, every book was connecting so well. It was incredible.
All right. In other news, Toxic Avengers coming back out in comic book form. And I'm really excited because it's being written by Matt Bors, who you might know as the creator of The Nib. He's got a great online presence where he keeps kind of those comic strips going. He did this long series on like a toxic wasteland in the future that was a very political strip. So the idea of him coming to this is like the perfect match.
It's over on Ahoy.
Oh, is it Oni or Ahoy? It was Ahoy.
I think it's Ahoy.
Okay. Odd to me at least, to see a publisher like Ahoy get some intellectual property that's so well known.
Does not strike me as weird at all.
It was probably dirt cheap.
Well, I guarantee you that the guys at Troma would reject any offer from any of the big three.
They want to go small and independent.
They want to go
that's
weird.
The spirit of Troma.
Yeah, exactly. Like Boom is probably too big for them.
Wow,
you know?
yeah, sure.
Well, I don't think Marvel and DC would let them do what Ahoy might, as far as creative.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
liberties.
because Ahoy did Second Coming, right? I mean, if you look at their roster,
That was supposed to come out on DC.
Isn't that
Second Coming was,
nuts?
and they said nope, and then Ahoy picked it up, and it's one of the biggest things that Ahoy's ever done.
I can't imagine that book coming out on DC. I can imagine on Vertigo, but I think was that around the time that. Yeah, I bet that was the plan for it to come out on Vertigo, and then they absorbed
Vertigo
them,
folded,
and they were like, "No, we cannot put a DC logo on a funny Jesus book."
Boo.
All right,
they do it with Batman and Superman.
buzzworthy comics this week: Fantastic Four 209, the first appearance of their friendly robot companion Herbie.
Oh,
Herbie.
I think. I don't know if there's confirmation or rumors that Herbie's going to pop up.
He's confirmed in the
He's confirmed.
promotional art.
Okay, yeah. So since he was in the promotional art, people are after this comic.
Don't get in the weeds. Top of your head, who voices Herbie in the movie?
Matt Berry.
Ben Schwartz.
Oh, you beat me, you fuck. That's a good one. Who do you think?
Todd Barry.
Todd Barry.
Okay, I like that.
Just the monotone the whole time.
Sure.
Mike Tyson.
Just like a not impressed robot.
Yeah,
that's funny.
A bored robot.
I do like that.
Hi, Reed. Master Shake. Meatwad.
Do you want me to do what?
All right, another buzzworthy book. Obviously, Secret Wars 5. We talked about this a little last week. Episode, I think you missed, Greg.
I've been gone for 2 weeks.
We missed you. We've missed you, Greg. We need to acknowledge that.
Oh, it's good to be back.
It's good to have you back. The room feels warm, full, and complete.
I've been farting.
Secret Wars 5, Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars 5
Yes.
appeared in the Deadpool trailer.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of speculation surrounding Deadpool 3 being a thing that introduces us to Battle World or Secret Wars or something like
The
that.
Beyonder.
So that particular book, Secret Wars 5, a 9.8 copy that was CGC graded, sold for $250 this week.
Guys, this is a dollar bin find.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop doing this.
This book is in dollar bins. I
and
promise you.
This can only last for a week or two more tops.
Yeah.
That this book will probably plummet. And I can't imagine anything specific about issue number 5 being a long-standing thing that like
it's the origin of Battle World. That's why it's popping off. And it was in
And it just showed up in the trailer. That's not a big deal.
yeah.
Oh my god.
It's not there's no way it's going to have long-standing value. I wouldn't think anyway.
Shut up, I've got 2 copies.
Sell them now. This has kind of been news for a little bit, but I just don't know. We've talked about it. Marvel canceling all their X books officially.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
So out of this like fall of the House of X thing, it's all leading towards a relaunch of X-Men. And now I think we know that there's either going to be, I don't know if they don't want to like give something away by knowing like, oh, if Immortal X-Men keeps going, then that means X, Y, and Z is true for this new X-Men series. This could be a fake out. That,
Well, it's because they know we're detectives and we'll sniff out anything.
Yeah, exactly right. Or it could just be that like their new creative direction, they wanted to be like, let's really start fresh. There's no reason to do X-Force in its current iteration anymore, even though people love that Benjamin Percy run. Same with Wolverine. Like the longest standing runs out of the Powers and House era of X-Men I think is X-Force first and then Wolverine second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So those two will be the hardest to say goodbye to.
Yeah, because X-Force I know is on issue 50, like as of this
Holy
week.
shit.
Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
New Mutants didn't even make it that long.
Yeah.
And it's and I think Wolverine is in
It's
like
got to be close.
it's around 40, I want to say.
Yeah.
God damn.
So
Benjamin Percy, man, dude knocks it out of the park.
yeah, he does a great job with those. So sad to see those books go. I love Cy Spurrier doing his comics and Kieran Gillen doing X-Men comics are like totally my high fantasy, super intelligent writers writing things I can barely comprehend. Like I'm a like kind of a sucker and nerd for these things, but
Buddy, do I have a wizard for you?
but I see how those two books in particular and those two creators in particular can be frustrating for people who want to dive in because they're very inaccessible, hard to read kind of comics.
You almost need like a duality of that. You need the high heady stuff.
Yeah.
And then you need a beat 'em up comic for the bumpy
for
brains.
us smooth brains.
Yeah, for the smooth brains.
I like it when Wolverine uses his claws.
Yeah, I mean that's my biggest complaint. Just like it's not going through enough heads. Like we need them claws to do something.
So we'll see. And I don't know if any of these creators are like, yeah, I need a breather from X-Men for a minute. And maybe they do because it's been a long time. But there's other people. All those people, I would love to see them be involved in this new era of X-Men somehow if they work into the plan or if the tone of the new X-Men stuff fits what they want to do. It'd be great to see Benjamin Percy continue doing these like weird stories in his style that I love.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that I've got is EC Comics to Oni.
Yeah.
That they're bringing back. EC Comics is kind of an imprint, I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not losing the EC Comics name. I mean, without the name, it's like, it's kind of nothing.
It's Oni.
Yeah. These are just anthology books on Oni.
Yeah. And they're bringing huge hitters for this. And that's exactly what you want to do when you come out with a new imprint or bringing back an old imprint like EC Comics, which is like
The big titles
a
were
fundamental thing in comic books.
Yeah, Weird Science. And then
Something fantasy.
what was the book that had Tales from the Crypt in it?
I think it was just
Was
Tales
the
from
title of the book Tales from the Crypt?
Because then they had like shriek horror, eek horror, whatever, that kind of stuff. So they're bringing that back too.
Super genre,
Heavy shit.
heavy stuff.
I'm here for it.
So
Dude, same.
that'll
I'm gonna
be
buy
fun.
that sci-fi book.
Oh, for sure.
100 copies.
And I love old EC covers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, you got that honking huge book up
is
there
that
on the shelf if you're on the YouTube.
Yeah. So I would love to just see if they do some homages or do more things in the style of like classic horror, classic sci-fi 40s comics. That would just be super rad and an easy sell for me.
I mean, just treat it like an anthology like they usually do, and
Yeah.
I mean, you're good to go. I mean, Silver Coin flourished like exceedingly well.
There's
with
definitely an
that.
appetite for that now. That especially like as someone who reads monthlies, it is nice when I get to those books that I'm just like, doesn't matter what I remember from the last issue. Someone I love is writing this. Someone I love is illustrating it, and it's just going to be a story from start to finish.
Yeah.
That's why I loved Swan Songs on Image so much, just because you're throwing really cool creators together and doing a self-contained story. I don't need everything to be like that, but I like some things to be like that.
I hope they keep everything nice and modern, though. Like one of the Boris Karloff we talked about a couple of weeks ago was cool to see that kind of come back, but it still had that like 50s, 60s era feel to it.
These
Is a cell phone?
Yeah.
these
like-
things suffer when they lean too hard into the homage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they get into almost like self-parody where it's like, I don't want to read this because it's not a comic book from the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just trying to like emulate the
Yeah.
feel of that. I was like, that's not why I'm here.
It's that would be for somebody who grew up reading EC comics, and those people are on death's door.
Correct. Correct.
That's not who you're making comics for anymore.
Grandpa, the new EC comics out. Oh, good. Is it still 15 cents?
Jumpin' Jiminy.
No, Grandpa, this book was like $15. It's a ratio variant. What?
Imagine explaining ratio
Yeah.
variance.
Poof into dust. Sorry, Peepaw. Another exciting thing from my past coming back. Jason Aaron's writing Scrooge McDuck, apparently, for Marvel.
So weird.
It's a one-off about his cursed dime that he collects, Scrooge McDuck.
Can't wait to get the ratio variant of Scrooge McDuck. by
Alex
Jason
Ross
Aaron.
is doing the...
No, he's not.
Yes, he's
Shut
doing the
up.
cover B, and it looks badass.
That's really funny.
Comic books are silly.
Did you guys talk about Tiny Onion?
No, we haven't.
They're their own imprint now.
Yeah, that's all I want to say about it. It's cool. Jason Tinian is really expanding and doing all cool things and like really taking control of his IP.
Yeah.
which I love. So congratulations on that.
I think it said something about it being like its own media production company now too, which I don't know what that means.
It means they're gonna focus on getting his IP into cartoons, movies, TV
Department
shows.
of Truth TV show.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If that is not already in someone's ear for production, it's going to be.
Yep.
That and Something That's Killing the Children, Blue Book, like get ready. In the next 5 years, there's gonna be some rad shit coming
Department
out
of
from Tiny
Truth
Onion.
could be the next like X-Files.
Yes.
It 100% could be.
I still that first issue for a minute was worth a lot of money, and now it's dipped down to like I've seen slabbed copies in 9/8 sell for around $20-$30, which is like what it costs to slab a comic. Like
it's a tragedy.
yeah, I think that'll probably go back up. It might be a good time to buy a minty fresh copy of Department of Truth right now.
James, I know 3 guys who would be fully willing to be killed as extras in a Department of Truth TV show.
Oh yeah,
Willing to lay my life on the line for you.
Correct.
I'll be one of the secrets hidden in the basement of the Denver airport.
I'll be
Oh, nice.
Bigfoot.
Oh, okay, taking a larger role than me.
Fine, I'm Mothman.
Let's get to some comics.
Finally. Who wants to go first?
Well, in typical First Issue Club fashion, Andy and I have shared the same brain and read the same books. We read the new Alien book, Black, White, and Blood. We read Predator Final Hunt or Last Hunt?
Last Hunt.
The Last Hunt. And then we read The Six Fingers. And then I actually went back and read The Hand,
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
which was almost like a prequel to this book. I mean, I think they're going to be working in tandem, like you
Yeah, it's
said
like the flip
yeah.
side of a coin or whatever. Yeah.
And then I did not read this
Oh, you
distillery
didn't?
book.
Okay. Did you read it?
No.
Because my wife has a no plus 18 books allowed in the house rule.
Oh.
Oh, no spice.
You could say your life is Duneless. No spice.
So the Alien book, Black, White, and Blood, is your typical anthology book that they do from time to time. The thing I love about this Alien book, and Andy backed me up on this, they really captured the essence of Aliens, the movie, which was like very sparse alien action, heavy, creepy vibes.
Correct.
Oh, you're talking about the movie Alien or the movie Aliens?
Alien.
Alien.
Okay, so Alien.
Aliens is the war movie.
Aliens is the war movie. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last story in this book with the kid,
It is top tier Alien.
that should have been 18 issues long
Top
because it was
fucking
incredible.
tier. Yeah. It's all told. I'm telling Mike D because I'm so excited about this. Like I'm not on a podcast talking about it, but it's told basically from the perspective of the mother, like the AI on a ship.
Okay, cool.
So imagine what was the
Sentient from
Sentient.
TKO.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's-
Jeff Lemire book. That was really good.
It's that, except there's one kid alive, and the AI is trying.
Like a toddler.
Yeah, the AI is trying to get him to the escape capsule while he's being hunted by aliens.
Okay, cool.
It was incredible.
riveting.
Yeah.
And what's really cool about that story in particular is it's called Black, White, and Blood, right? Historically, that has been black, white, and red. But aliens have green blood.
Oh,
so
cool.
they use
Gotcha.
so they use green throughout this book,
That's great.
and most of that last story, like when he's in the ship, you turn the page and it goes into the alien part, and it's all in green.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's fucking dope.
It is very, very cool. Like I kind of read this alien book as like a laugh. Like I went into it just like this won't be anything. Completely floored by it,
Yeah.
and like really kind of reinforced that I need to double down and invest in these alien books. And then I read right after that the Predator Last Hunt book, and it fucking floored me.
Dude.
It was so good.
I've been saying it every single time.
Ed Brisson has created this universe within the Marvel canon of the Predator stuff where like the hunter has now become the hunted, and like they're stealing these Predator armor to hunt down other Predator.
Yeah.
It was sorry about my Shane Gillis impression. It was like so good.
Well, and what's so sick is that there have been. This is the third volume of Predator. They've all followed the same girl. The first one, she was like
Theta or whatever.
Yeah, the first one, she was a kid, like whatever, 12-ish years old. The middle one, she was like in her 20s, and then this one, she's in her 40s.
Yeah.
And she hasn't seen a predator in decades, but she's, like Greg said, hunting them down in their own armor.
It's cool.
It fucking rips.
Rad. That's awesome.
It's what X-Men needs to be. All gas, no brakes.
Yeah,
That's exactly what this book is.
yeah.
These sort of things are the kinds of comics that I love introducing to people who don't read comics that much, because one, it's the thing that you can already be a fan of.
Yes.
Two, it's like a million, it seems like, Predator movies have been made, and like none of them are as good as the first one, except maybe like Hunt, which was like the one that
Prey.
or Prey.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Which probably still, I think the first one's probably way better, right?
No, I thought Prey was the best predator.
You thought
movie.
Prey was the best Predator movie?
Hunt for, I mean, sorry, gee, you got me fucking doing it. The original Predator, like, in my mind, cannot be beat because it set the stakes.
Yeah,
and
right.
then everything else has been trying to catch up to that. And then Prey was just like, fuck you, I'm going in a different direction, and just took it. Like it did what the original Predator did. It was like reintroduced this concept,
Yep.
and has set a launching point for this series now.
So I think the comics of these things are exciting because people are so often disappointed by the way their favorite media is handled when it's been like rebooted or redone or whatever, and then you've got to wait like 4 years in between another shot at it. And the Star Wars comics are phenomenal. If you hated some of the new movies, it's like revisit your time with Luke and Leia. There's endless amounts of comics now
Yeah.
to get into that, and so many of them are fantastic. And the same thing with these new Alien and Predator comics, and even like the older Dark Horse ones are great.
Or the Star Wars, the
The High Republic?
the High Republic, right? Yeah, High Republic. It's like brand new Star Wars stories
Yeah.
starring characters you don't know.
Yeah.
Even the Planet of the Apes one's good.
Yeah.
I
Shouldn't be,
I know.
but it is.
and I'm very nervous with all these like revisiting nostalgia type books, but when you have, this is a testament, if you have the right creative team that are invested in it, you get fucking shit like this, like The Last Hunt from Predator.
Well, I mean, Stephanie Phillips wrote a book in this. Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing wrote the ongoing in the Alien one,
Right.
That's going to continue out. And whoever this caddy guy was,
Oh, for sure.
never heard him before, but that
Incredible.
story, I'm not kidding, top tier Alien. And then obviously Ed Brisson's been killing it on Predator for like 2 years.
Yeah, figuratively and literally.
True.
So I loved it. The two solid 20th Century Fox Studio imprint books that I never thought in a million years I would enjoy reading.
I'm glad Ed Brisson has a place for like jungle fighting comics, because Marvel kind of hit the brakes on all the Punisher stuff.
Yeah.
And so much of the like Punisher Warzone stuff that he did was just so awesome. And then they're kind of like, do we do the gun violence stuff on Marvel anymore? And now you do it with Predator, and it's like you can do it.
We've learned as long as it's lasers, you're fine.
We've moved past guns. We're onto laser cannons now, Mike.
yeah.
Laser cannons and claws.
So,
No one's shut up a school with lasers yet, so we can still use lasers.
I'm glad he's got an outlet for that.
And then we read The Six Fingers, which is a spin out of a book that I think you guys covered 1 or 2 episodes ago called The Hand.
The One Hand, right?
One Hand.
The One Hand. Incredible. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
By Dan Waters.
A different creative team from The One Hand.
Because Ram V was
Correct.
for The One Hand.
I love Dan Waters.
Yeah.
So good.
But this is... So The One Hand is the detective story. The Six Fingers is the killer's story. I mean, presumably
The killer.
Like
He seemed to be...
They give it away, but there's definitely... I mean, just like in The One Hand, there's like a twist or something else is going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Homeboy with the Six Fingers, he definitely killed somebody. Right? Like...
His body killed somebody.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'll say
it's
that.
Like, did he have like an out of body experience or like an alternate personality, or was he like
The sewage seeping into his brain.
Yeah, he like is a toxic waste disposal guy. So like, is that what caused it? Is it? There's still a lot of questions, but it's gonna be fun
Yeah.
seeing both sides of this crime and investigation.
This is like True Detective meets Blade Runner.
Yeah, that's a great way to put
And
it.
it is nailing it. It is nailing it more than it should.
Yeah.
And to do it in 2 separate books, whew, brilliant.
This is
so smart.
This is the kind of stuff that like comic books were made for.
Yes.
You couldn't make like True Detective and also True Criminal
Yeah.
and have those shows run at the same time.
Right.
And balance each other out like you can with these 2 comic series.
Yeah. It'd be like if Game of Thrones and like the Dragon show were going at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it's too much
Yeah.
in any other medium but comic books.
Yeah. And it slapped. So
It is very, very good.
Do we know why? And you don't have to explain this to me if we do. Do we know why it's called The One Hand and the Six Fingers?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
He's got 6 fingers.
He's got 6 fingers because of the toxic waste.
Oh, okay.
And it's called The One Hand because there's always one handprint left at the scene of the crime.
And
Okay.
that was like the killer's name, right?
Yeah. The one. Well, that's what they call it.
one-hand
The one-hand
killer.
killer.
Yeah.
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 So
All right.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty dope. This is definitely a book. Normally, I praise a book when it has low cost of entry, but this is like a 6-issue series, but it's actually 12 because you kind of have to read both series to get the full story.
But I wonder if you do. I wonder if they're gonna.
You don't. You definitely don't.
We don't know yet.
Yeah. Well, I would say that you could read these individually and still enjoy them both.
So I read this one first, The Six Fingers, and I was like, this is a great story. But I knew that it tied into The One Hand, and so I read The One Hand, and I got 2 separate amazing stories.
Yeah.
But knowing that they are kind of like a weird TGIF crossover episode thing, like kind of made it even cooler. That
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, because Image, they'll always print a trade or a compendium or something. And it'll be interesting to see if they do them separately, if they're all collected into one thing and they paste them every other issue.
that'd be cool.
Like, what's the intended reading order? Like, that's the thing I liked about the way Marvel did the House and Powers of X compendium, because it was like, this was the order they were released in and were intended to be read, even though they were like different series.
That I will definitely report back on these series to answer that question.
Yeah.
Because I could see it going both ways, honestly. I could see both series running completely independently perfectly well and then kind of meeting up at the end.
Yeah.
When the crime is solved or whatever. But I could also see the opposite, where like it's kind of intended for you to like pick up a little bit of pace on the detective side and then fill in some gaps on the criminal side.
and it's kind of nuts because these books have already interacted with each other like in panels that mirror each other in each book.
Yeah.
But they don't like depend on one another.
Yeah,
It was
the
just, like,
criminal
this
and the
weird-
detective aren't talking.
No, it's like it's this weird just like impact moment, and then like they ricocheted off one another and kept telling their own story. It was so wild.
It really reminds me of what the Captain America teams were doing when like they did the Captain America thing, and then the two Caps basically split and told their own story until they came together for Cold War at the end.
Yeah.
So hopefully it does the same thing. But yeah,
This could culminate into like another series.
oh
even.
maybe
Yeah.
I'd read it
Yeah.
just based on these
On
two
other body
first
parts?
issues alone. Oh yeah, the fourth foot,
4 knees.
one dick.
The way God intended.
What'd you read, Mike?
I didn't read
What about this one?
anything.
Fine. I was just trying to give Mike
You didn't read
some
your
Mike.
sexy book.
Oh, I read it. I read Blasfamous
no.
by Mirka Andolfo. And it is,
Is it sexy?
it gets sexy.
Oh, so there's like a little foreplay at the beginning, a little.
Yeah.
How do you do?
So the premise is that there's this sect of the church
Yeah.
that has split off, and their way of worshiping is to create and promote like famous people.
Uh-huh.
Right? So it's not Taylor Swift, but like the Taylor Swift of this world is actually like 600 years old, and she signed this deal with a demon, and she's now functionally immortal, and the demon uses the worship and praise that she gets as a pop star
Oh, okay.
to feed and fuel
Yeah, the
himself.
god needs belief.
Yeah.
And worshippers
Exactly.
for power.
Yeah.
I do that.
And there's a whole
For immortality? Fuck yeah.
oh, I thought you were going to say for Taylor Swift.
Oh, yes.
But there's a whole like cosmology that's introduced in this book where the demons and angels were fighting, and they have these relics, and the relics are what help them like get the god juice that power up the demons and all that, whatever. All that stuff is in here. What I am finding with these distillery books is that they are just fucking packed.
Yeah.
And I would almost rather have, this is a $9 book. I would almost rather have a $5 book that is half the length, because there's so much information in here.
Okay.
It's not bad.
It's kind of tedious to read because it doesn't
It's
end.
just a lot. Yeah. There's just a lot of information. So the first half of this book is this story about this pop star, and then they start dumping all this like other information. You get like this glimpse into her personal life, but it's compared to her, life as a pop star, and it's great. But then there's like 8 more pages of angels and demons fighting, and this weird thing, and this new person that they're bringing in as like, part of the church. And yeah, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of book.
I think you get into like a different headspace with that of just like, you have a limited amount of time with a regular comic. And then like when you want to sit down to read like an omnibus or like a trade, you're just like, okay, I have to allot more time for this.
Yeah.
And I think Distillery is still trying to figure that space out. Like, how much attention do we want from our reader?
I think you got to go into this within the headspace of like, I'm sitting down for a while.
Yeah.
And-
Are the kids asleep?
Yeah.
Are my chores done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, Gone, I felt the same way about. Somna was a little bit of an easier read, but there's just a lot more to chew on than girl gets predator armor and shoots predator, right?
Yeah.
It's just a different style of book.
Predator Last Hunt out on Marvel.
And that's what happens when you get into like religious stuff in comics, that there just is,
Yeah. There's definitely more meat on the bone.
or I guess any medium. There's some explaining and world building
Yeah.
to do before you can just like accept the thing. And part of the fun is like the mythos. So Mirka Andolfo is from Italy.
Italy.
So I'm assuming was at least raised Catholic. And as people who are raised Catholic, I feel like a lot of my friends who are like really gravitate towards these things that like get into like
The minutia.
the minutia and what are the rules of like a saint and how they became a saint and all this background, and then it gets turned into like
Oh, I know these characters already.
a modern day sci-fi sort of thing like that. I'm such a sucker for that sort of thing, and I've loved several of her, like Sweet Paprika was another thing where it was like it's a horny comic, but
Unsacred.
In reality, it was like religious guilt was like the kind of theme of the comic.
Yeah.
And yeah, same thing with a handful of her other comics.
She's so good.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite writers.
Yeah.
and artists. I love her style
Creator
too.
in general. Yeah.
And this book is no exception. Like, don't get me wrong, this book is really, really good.
Yeah.
But I think people should know going in that this is something you have to sit down and chew on for sure. Yeah, really entertaining. It does get a little bit horny. So, but if you're picking up a DSTLRY book, you should be kind of prepared for
Yeah,
that.
you kind of already prepped for that.
Yeah.
Conceptually, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Wicked and Divine. If you liked that book, I bet you'd like Blasphemous.
Yeah.
Blasphemous.
Yes. It certainly has, it rings of that for sure. For sure. Really good book. DSTLRY's killing it again. They will probably continue to kill it.
I've said it before.
creators this
2024 is going to be a very pivotal year for DSTLRY. If they can keep pumping it out, then the sky's the limit.
Yeah, you wonder, because when they kicked it off, it was kind of like, we're going to have this cadence of releases. Everybody's got their books, like, or the cover art for them, like, ready to go so we can promote everything at this big announcement. You wonder if they keep up the pace with this. If, like, is my goal as a DSTLRY creator to do one DSTLRY comic a year, and with 12 of like the industry's best creators, it's like that's enough. Like, and that's probably the right amount if you want us to spend $10 on a prestige format thing. You can't do that all the time. So I really appreciate how they've been piecemealing these to us instead of just like dumping Gone, Blasphemous, and
Like all on a Wednesday.
Somna, like all at once, and I'd be like, shit, I just spent $30 on 3 comics. Like, that's outrageous.
It's also, we have a new influx of creator owned like house properties that like Ghost Machine, like
Gotta go buy all those books.
like those people are locked, and those creators are locked down for 3 years. They can't go to DSTLRY and do a project. So like it's more interesting now with like all these high profile creators like signing these interesting indie contracts of just like, I have to commit to this one imprint for 2 or 3 years. Like, I'd love to come do a story on DSTLRY, and I can work on one on the side and get to it in 3 years. So that leaves kind of DSTLRY out in the wind a little bit of just like, we need to hunt down some stuff.
They've got enough talent. They've got enough great talent where they're fine.
I did see a poster in my LCS today that said that they're debuting 3 new #1s over the next 3 months.
Yeah.
That's a way to do it.
March, April, and May are all going to introduce new #1s. So you pair that on top of the 3rd issue of Gone, the 3rd issue of Somna, issue 2 of Blasphemous, and they'll be doing fine. They're probably, I would imagine that their plan is to drop 2 books a month, for the foreseeable future.
It's doable.
I think that's totally doable and maintainable. And given the stock of creators that they have, that they've got plenty of brain power to churn out new books.
I think you used to be fans of publishers. Obviously, there's still people who are like, I'm a Marvel person, I'm a DC person. But the more comics you read, the more you find out, like, oh, I'm actually a Jason Aaron fan, and I was a Marvel person because Jason Aaron was writing Marvel comics at the time. Now that he's writing Batman Offworld, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm just a Jason Aaron fan. I think more things are kind of shifting like that. And it's cool that DSTLRY found a way to be like, there's so much overlap between the sort of people who like all of us that if you're a very particular type of comic book fan who loves Rom V, then you probably love a couple Mirka Andolfo things, and you probably love James Tynion stuff. And so for them to make a publisher out of that concept of like people follow creators, not publishers anymore, cool. I think Ghost Machine's doing the same sort of thing of being like, people love our shit. We've got a certain style to us. So like, let's keep it in house and let people follow our thing instead of plodding around tons of different publishers, wondering where to find us next, not realizing I'm writing the new Steel comic, so you got to pre-order that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's all the I miss comics that I would have bought all the time because I didn't realize Stephanie Phillips was writing it, just because it's like some random fucking DC book or some random Marvel book.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. I think I'm interested to see how much of a success things like DSTLRY and Ghost Machine are, that have some sort of like commune of creators with overlap and vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally. That's it. That's all I read.
What an episode.
We did it again. Any parting words?
No. Planet Comic Con's coming up, so if you're in Kansas City, come stop by the Boulevard Brewing Company booth. We'll be there, and we'll also be just like kind of walking around, hanging out. If you're at C2E2, let us know. We'll be there.
Bag of boredom.
Bag 'em, boredom. Be good.
Bye.